So do you have any advice for anyone out there to find their own inspiration?
Yes, so when we run our networking events, my favorite type of person that comes, and I sort of do this thing at the beginning. So, who's here to get inspiration from the startup founders that we're going to have on stage? And people put their hands up, and then people are like, and then I ask the question, so who's here to better your career and put something on your CV? And you get these people put their hands up. And then the third question is, who's here but doesn't really know why they're here? And you get these people that sort of sheepishly put their hand up and they're like a bit embarrassed and stuff. And they are my favorite people because they have just seen something and gone, ooh, that looks interesting. I don't really know what's going to happen, but I'm going to go and see what's out there. And I always find those people are the ones that are going to then go far. So I've actually seen it from students who are coming to the end of their courses. They've come to an event. They've gone, I don't really know why I'm here. I'm just here for the free beer and the pizza. I'm going to have a laugh, and you can see that kind of glint in their eye. And then they hear from a startup founder and they go, oh, wow, I didn't know this existed. Like, they're like me. They're only a couple of years down the line. They graduated 2 years ago. Maybe I could do something like that. And you can see it almost ignite in them in that 2 hours that they've been at that event. So top tips, if something piques your interest, just go to it. And how you find those events and opportunities, go and look for your local growth hub. So all regions have a business growth hub. They should have an event section. There's a curated networking events and workshops and all of that, all for free for people that are curious about self-employment and just get emerged. And even if going to a face-to-face event isn't you're not quite there yet, try some online stuff. Look on LinkedIn, put in what you're interested in. Say, for example, AI. You're going to find thousands of events that are all online. Go to one, and worst case scenario, you go, it's a bit crap. All you have to do is close your laptop. You know what? You've lost nothing. And then it might be that then you go to an online event and then you think, oh, actually, this is really interesting. I really like this subject. Maybe there's something in my local area that is face-to-face that I can now go to. So taking it step by step, I think, as well, is really important when you're on that journey, because I think all too often we always see the kind of end, like, you see it, we call it like a 10-year overnight success. So first is getting a lot of publicity now, like we're really getting recognized. And for some people, they won't know the journey that we've been on, and they won't know that we're 10 years old. And all of a sudden, like they're seeing me everywhere, and people will always look to the end result and not necessarily focus on that journey. And I think the more we can break down that journey for people and be like, but you went to that online networking event, that was brilliant. Like, celebrate that as a win, because you're going on, you're taking that first step in that journey. And not seeing it as this big, oh God, I don't know, the Lord Sugars of the world who have got, these empires. That's not what entrepreneurship is. Entrepreneurship is creating value for yourself and others.
Exactly.
And so breaking it down and getting rid of that stigma of what a business person should look like, and just saying, well, actually, I could do that, and maybe I do want to do that, and here are the tools and here are the people that I can meet in order to progress that journey.
Yeah, because you just never know. When you look into the journeys of these big companies, they started small, Amazon started in a garage as just a guy who wants to sell books online, or eBay was just to sell, I think it was a laser pointer or a pen, just wanted to sell it online secondhand, didn't have anywhere to do that. It's just like a lot of these companies, they seem massive and intimidating, but they started small with 1 or 2 people in exactly the kind of environment we're in now. It's like you never know where a business might come from, and just having those sort of opportunities there, for it can be a small event, like you say, just start with something small. Even if you go to an in-person event, it's not that great. At least you've got the free pizza or whatever, haven't you? So there's no real issue with getting yourself out there, because that's how you find what you're interested in. Try a few different things, like you say, because you'll find the one for you. And once you do, then you can broaden out. But if you're not sure what to do, doing nothing's probably the worst thing. Doing something, the smallest of steps first, because from there, that's when the giant leaps come in.
Exactly. And if you want to look at some local role models that have done just that and have been, I remember them coming into these first events and they're so nervous and so like new at this experience. So global teacher Chris Nutman, he came through as the winner of the Ideas Prize as part of Startup Awards Northeast as a graduate. He's now running an amazing charity giving third world countries access to education through solar panelled projector screens and machines, low carbon materials. They were graduates, PhD graduates who got inspired to then use their research and commercialize that. They were Earthshot Prize finalists last year. You've got the likes of Equinox. There's so many incredible stories of young people, and you don't have to be young, just taking those first steps. And when you're ready, the business community is there to welcome you with open arms.
Yeah, it's never too late to get started, isn't it?
Exactly.
You could be any age.
Exactly. And, I think in hindsight and my own journey, I started the business at 27. And you can't you don't think, oh, we should. Well, in a way, I kind of wish I'd done a bit more working for a big, massive company or something like that, because my whole work history is it was hospitality and then it was first. So I would have loved to have had a bit more experience in the commercial world to then apply that into my business. So, if you're 40, 50, 60 and you've been working for someone else your entire life, but you have the skills and the ability to actually take what you've done in your employment and make it cheaper, faster, better quality, why not?
Yeah, exactly. You can sort of take that experience you've had in a job you might have been for many years and do it yourself. And if you can, do it even better.
Yeah.